or l'chaim.
Yeah. But anyway, so that's what it's saying. So that's you should love Hashem. That's all the loves in the world should be going for Hashem. All right. The mashkiach said we should start the daf because he put on the recording. So okay. So we're on the bottom of Yud Zayin of Beis. These next two blot are yeah. I don't know why I should say that, but we'll scare off the island. But okay, so basically the sugya that we're in right now is Zika, right? Which we had no good taich for that, right? Our article taich is Zika
bond.
Zika bond, right? Okay, so the Zika bond is basically the mashal we said to make it easier is that if a guy has to be meyavim, I think it makes it easier. If a guy, his brother dies, right, and now he's waiting to do yibum to his wife, and then not his wife, to his brother's wife. He's meaning guy's waiting to do yibum to his sister-in-law, and then his sister-in-law dies. Does he have to sit shiva? Right. So if you hold that they're automatically bonded with this Zika, and it's as if he's already her new husband, then he would have to sit shiva. But if you say there's no Zika, then you wouldn't have to.
Could he still do chalitza at that point?
She's dead.
I no, before she died, while he's waiting.
That'd be pretty good to get a dead lady to take your shoe off, Naftali.
Yeah.
That would be.
No, I was saying, what makes it Zika? The second her husband, his brother died with Zika, or he made a decision that he's being miyavim, not doing chalitza. That's what I'm asking.
What do you mean? I don't understand. You ask
what makes it Zika? The second the husband died, his brother died without children. That's Zika, or he made a decision to do yibum and not chalitza, and that makes it Zika.
No, he was gonna do yibum, and he didn't have time.
Right. So that's what I'm asking. What makes it Zika? That he wants to do yibum?
Zika's when
he
the
dies.
brother dies. Right when the brother dies. That's it.
Right when he dies is Zika.
Exactly what makes it.
Right, well, that's what I'm asking. So if he could still choose to do chalitza, so why should he have to sit shiva?
No, and Hanami, he doesn't sit shiva. I'm saying it's not a good mushal, just a mushal to bring out the point. Is it considered like a marriage or not? So there's a machlokes. Some say it's mamish like a marriage, and some say it's quasi. I mean, it's not a full marriage. It's either quasi marriage or no marriage at all. Right. So that's
you can ask a basic question. If there's a child from Zika, is that a mamzer or not?
Child from Zika, that would be yibum. A child from who?
How could there be a child from Zika? Yeah.
If she was Mazana, you mean? If she was Mazana?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that's okay. We already said that's not mamzer, but yeah. But that would be an
She's not really married.
Yeah. Okay, so we're up to we had two versions of the Gemara. So now we have Rabbi Yehuda and Amar. Right? We had said Rav Huna said that there's no Zika. Now Rabbi Yehuda is saying there is Zika. We're 1, 2, 3, 5, 6 lines up from the bottom, Yud Zayin base. So Rabbi Yehuda Amar, and this is it's going to be the exact opposite of the Gemara, the last Gemara from yesterday. Rabbi Yehuda Amar Shemeres Yavam Shemesa. So here we're talking about, again, the brother dies without kids, and then before he gets to do yibum, the sister, the one he's supposed to do yibum to, dies. He says, Asr the ima, it's asr for this guy to marry her mother. Why? Because she was considered his wife, even though they never got married. The Zika makes it like she's his wife, therefore he's not allowed to marry his mother-in-law. Right? So Alma Kasari says Yesh Zika. So obviously he holds if he's not allowed to marry this lady's mother, that means there was some sort of Zika there. Otherwise, there's no relationship there. Right? Velema, so says Velema Locha Kedivri Yesh Zika. So why is he saying this? It's not a complicated case as cases go, but why is he saying this case? Why don't you just say Yesh Zika? So when I answer, I would have thought that the only time you say Yesh Zika, that's when there's only one brother around. So it says one brother to do yibum. So of course he's the one that's zikad for, he's zakuk for this lady. I will betray, but if there's two brothers available, right? There's two brothers. So how do you know which brother is going to do the yibum? So maybe there's no Zika, and therefore one of them would be able to marry this lady's mother, because it's not really one of them is going to have to do yibum, and the other one is scot-free to do whatever he wants. So maybe there he doesn't say, maybe there he says ain't Zika. So when it says, what do you mean? Pligi, betray pligi. The whole Machlokes is by 2. So why would you think that he wouldn't disagree? Ella, I Amar Hachi, meaning if you would say that, if he would have just said straight Zika on Tamar Aleph now, Hava Mina Mechayim, you would have thought that it's only when he wants to marry her when the Yevama is still alive. Meaning he wouldn't be able to, because the bottom line is he has to marry the daughter, right? He has to do even to the daughter, so of course he can't marry her mother. But once the daughter dies, meaning his sister-in-law dies, so the Zika goes away, and now he can marry the mother. The Zika the chedi literally means for free, right? The Zika bichdi light pocket doesn't go away for no reason. Meaning, once there's a Zika, the Zika stays even after she dies, and therefore he's not allowed to marry her mother. Right? So let's say there's a proof. If the woman he's supposed to do yibum to, she dies, mutter ba'chaisa, he's allowed to marry her sister. It's mashma ba'chaisa, and he can marry her sister, right? But he's not allowed to marry the mother, right? Meaning a sister you're allowed to marry, a wife's sister you're allowed to marry after the wife dies. So that's mutter. But after the wife dies, one is not allowed to marry her mother, right? So that's the same thing here. But maybe the sister you can marry, the mother you can't. So it's a proof. So we say, no, it's not a proof. Really, the mother also, he should be able to be married, to marry her. But I did the Tanaresha Ishta Shemesa Mutter Ba'chaisa, that when his wife dies, in the standard case, when somebody's wife dies, the sister's mutter, Dafka Ba'chaisa, that's Dafka by a sister, Ava Be'imaloi. One is not allowed to marry his mother-in-law after his wife dies. Because that's mamash and issa deraisa. So Tananami Seifa Mutter Ba'chaisa. That's why the Seifa said Mutter Ba'chaisa when it's just a Zika, not when there's an actual marriage. And it means that the mother can also be married.
But before a wife dies, it can marry a mother-in-law. What does that mean?
No. Before a wife, you can't even marry a mother even after the wife dies.
Then what's the chiddush that you just said? What's the chiddush? You just said that.
Because we're talking about Zika. It's
right.
not. They were never married. It was only he was supposed to marry the woman, and he didn't marry the woman. And then she died. He's still.
Who's
not
the woman here? The mother-in-law. Who's the woman here? The mother-in-law.
The woman he's supposed to. The woman he's supposed to do yibum to is sort of like his wife. That's the whole shiloh. So we're saying that she is like his wife enough that after she dies, even though they never got married, but she's like his wife enough since he was required not her to marry her. So therefore, even after she dies, the mother, he still cannot marry the mother, even though the Lamaisa, they were never married. Right? That's what it's saying. It's like we're saying the equivalent is a guy dates a girl and he's about to get engaged to the girl, and then he doesn't get engaged to the girl, and then he decides to get engaged to the girl's mother. Right? So that's allowed because there was never any relationship between him and the girl. But if they already had kiddushin, right, and then he decided to not have nesuin, then he would still be usher in the mother. So that's basically what we're saying. The same thing here. So Masar Rav Huna Bar Chia. So now Rav Huna Bar Chia asks from our Mishnah, right? So also, but mamar umei. So then we said of Shimon again. We have three brothers. You have Shimon, you have Reuben, Shimon, and Levi. So Reuben died without kids. Shimon, he didn't yet do yibum, but he did mamar. So again, mamar we said is he said that he's going to marry her. So mamar does not work obviously as a marriage, but it works in the Rabbanan. So he did it the Rabbanan thing, and then he died. So Shnia, so the second one, meaning Shimon's wife, and again, Shimon died without kids. So Shnia, so the Shnia, and then of course Levi was born, right? So Shnia, the Shnia, the second wife, meaning Shimon's wife, gets chalitza, not yibum, right? Because midrabanan there was a kedushin there. So since midrabanan there was a kedushin, so there might be an isser of erva to Levi. So since there's an isser of erva to Levi midrabanan, so you can't let him off scot free because maybe there's a mitzvah yibum. We can't have him do yibum because there's an erva midrabanan. So therefore he does chalitza, not yibum, right? So time it over but maimer. The only reason why he does chalitza and not yibum is because he said that he's marrying her. But if he would not have said, meaning if Shimon would not have said that he's going to do yibum to Reuben's wife, so Shniya nami yibum miyava. So then the second one, right, she should be able to do yibum. right? Because there was never any relationship between Reuven's wife and Shimon's wife. But if you say the Zika, and Zika makes it like there's a marriage, so the Shimon's wife should be potter from both yibum and chalitza, because Reuven's wife, again, Levi was born after all this, so Levi cannot do yibum because he came on the scene much later. So since he came on the scene much later, so he's potter from Reuven's wife, and then because Reuven's wife and Shimon's wife are now co-wives, so Mamela, he should be potter from Shimon's wife too. So that must be that there's no Zika, right? So Amarabba, who adin davagav deloy aver b'maimer. Really, it's even if he didn't do maimer. Shniya mechletz chalutza yibum elamiyam. That second one does chalitza and there's no yibum. V'had gatani maimer, and this that we learn maimer. Lafuke mi Beis Shamai. That's coming to exclude Beis Shamai. Ta'amri maimer kaina kinyan gomer. Beis Shamai has a shita that says that maimer is mamish a marriage, right? So Kamash Valanu, the reason why we're teaching Maimer is to tell you, really there was a connection here, but the reason why we're saying Maimer is just to tell you that Maimer is not a legitimate marriage like Shita's Beis Shammai. Right? So even though Shimon did Maimer, right, I'm sorry. So when he dies, his wife's gonna need Chalitza, because Maimer doesn't work. Okay, so that's the first kasha. Second kasha, Esrei Abaya. Abaya had a kasha on Rabbi Yehuda Shita about Zika. So Shnei Achen Boilam Echad. They're two brothers in this world, meaning they're not the case of our mishna where the brother was born after the other brother died. They were both alive. Umeis Echad man, and one of them died, Veloy Vlad without a kid. Right, your standard yibum case. And then the second one said he's going to do yibum, but he wasn't able to even do the maimer. Right? He said he's going to do the yibum, but he never got to it. Then he had a new brother, Umeis, and then he died. Right? Then Shimon died. So Shimon said he was going to do maimer, he didn't do maimer, and then his new brother was born. So Harishayna. Right, the first wife, Reuven's wife, for sure, is potter. He's potter from doing yibum because the new brother wasn't around. The shniya and the second wife, meaning Shimon, either she does chalitza or yibum, right? Because in Lamaisi he never did maimer. So v'iyamrit yesh Zika, but if you say the Zika, it's a tzaras eishesachim. That's Shaloi Hayabaylam with Zika, right? And therefore she should be potter. She shouldn't need anything. So the Gemara answers, Hamani R Meir, the Amar ain't Zika. This is going according to R Meir. This is Shita R Meir who says there's no Zika. Right? So it's the Gemara says, Umi Svira Lei R Meir ain't Zika. Does R Meir hold there's no Zika? Again, if there's no Zika, that means there's no connection there whatsoever. Right, but non arba achim. If you have four brothers, right? We had this case a few times. Four brothers. Shnayim man, two brothers married to two sisters. Umesu hanasuan ha'achayis, and the two brothers that were married to two sisters died. Harei elu chaltzis v'loy misyamas. They do chalitza, and they don't do yibum. Right. So we had said that the reason is because we don't know which brother goes to which sister. So if you do yibum, you're going to end up marrying a sister-in-law. Right, so lachayra means that there's yesh Zika. The Yisakadait of Savar R Meir ain't Zika, and if you're going to say R Meir holds there's no Zika, Hani mitrei patikas, and these two wives are coming from two different houses, right? Right. So highly yabam chada, but highly yabam chada. Let each one do yibum. Meaning the only reason why the two brothers are married to two sisters can't do yibum, according to the Brisa, is because there's Zika. So you don't know which sister was supposed to marry which brother. So you're stuck automatically marrying your wife's sister, which is not allowed, even for yibum, right? But if you say there's no Zika, so let each one let one brother take one wife, one brother another wife. So must be he holds of Zika, right? So because otherwise that's what he would say. So my answer is lo ain't Zika. Really, there's no Zika. Also levatel mitzvahs yavmin. Here's a very interesting. Mama, I wish this wasn't on a Friday because this would be the interesting part of the daf. I'm not saying the other parts are not interesting, but this gets into deep hashkafic and halachic shilas. But what is it saying? Also levatel mitzvahs yavmin. You're not allowed to be mevatel the mitzvah of yibum. Why? What's going to happen here? Again, if you're going to you have two brothers married to two sisters, so we say, okay, let one brother do yibum to one sister and let another brother do yibum to the other sister, right? So what's going to happen is you might have a problem that one of them end up being batal from mitzvahs yibum. The dilma adam yavim chad ma'asidach. Let's say one brother is miyavim one sister, right? Then before the other one even gets to do the yibum, then the other brother dies. So now there's only one brother left, and he has to be miyavim, his wife's sister. And you're being mevatel the mitzvah of yibum, right? Because if what? Because now there's only one brother left, and he can't do yibum to his wife's sister, right? Again, you have two brothers married to two sisters.
When is mamar and when is Zika?
What?
When is mamar and when is Zika?
Oh, so Zika is an automatic. If you hold of Zika, that's a good question, Hal. Zika is an automatic. The second the brother dies, there's a connection between his wife and the husband's brother. That's Zika. Mamar is not like that. Mamar means it's like a letter of intent. There's a letter of intent that I'm going to marry. That's stronger than Zika. But tomorrow's daf, Bez Hashem, we'll discuss if there's sveikas about Zika, is an automatic suffix about mamar too. So you really, it's tomorrow's daf. But Zika is an automatic, and mamar is not automatic. Mamar has to be done. That is like a letter of intent. That's much stronger. But the rabbanon, the letter of intent actually makes them of rabbinically married, right? But either way, so R Meir has this wild chashash where he's saying we can't have two brothers do yibum to two sisters, because let's say the first brother is miyavim, one sister, I'm sorry. The first brother's married one sister. Okay, and then he says, then Bezdin says, okay, next brother, your turn. And then he has a heart attack, right? And he dies. So now we have one brother, he can't do yibum to the other sister because that's his wife's sister. So R Meir is worried about this, so therefore he says, we can't do that. So we say we'd rather do chalitza. We'd rather do chalitza than to do yibum, right? Rebaran, it's a wild chashash.
Why is it better to do yibum on chalitza on two and then yibum having on one?
No, so that's what he's saying. He's so concerned about this chashad that the other brother is going to die. He'd rather have chalitza be done. And instead of being bevatel the mitzvah of yibum,
but that's
he'd rather
knocking
have
out yibum.
done.
But by doing chalitza, you're knocking out two yibums.
Correct.
For sure.
Correct.
So
exactly. Right. Yeah, you're right. That's a good kasha. The Gemara is sort of going to ask that kasha. Well, not exactly, but yeah, that's his chashash. Right? That's what he's chashing. So now what the poskim discuss with this is I'm not only based on, I don't know if it's based on this, well, it's sort of based on this, is how far you chashit things, right? How far do you take a chashad, right? That a person's going to die?
Do we're not chashit for Misa by Yom Kippur.
Oh,
first
very
mishna.
good. That's very good. So some of the poskim, that's what they ask. Like, what's they ask, like, well, we know that we're not chashit for Misa. There's a few places in Shas that we're not chashit for Misa, right? So, so that's one chashah. But a couple of these situations come up Purim. I was actually discussing with Peretz because he says if he fasts on Tainus Esther, it wipes out his whole Purim, right? So some places can say, okay, you're potter from fasting. Now, you don't know for sure if you're going to have a headache on Purim, right? You don't know. But better to do one mitzvah, meaning don't fast, in order that you should for sure be mekayim a mitzvah. Or they also, what is another thing that they discuss?
Maybe you could tell your brother he should, after the Megillah, he should have a coffee before he drinks his first 8-ounce glass of scotch. That might help.
Yeah,
him also.
that might help. That might actually help. That's practical rabbinics. Right? No, I'm saying how far do you have to go? How far are you chash? Meaning he's basically saying David Kirshman. That's what he's saying. R Meir is saying he'd rather a hand. What is it called? One in the hand instead of two in the bush.
Yeah, bird in the hand.
He'd rather,
is
a
like
bird
two
in the hand
bush.
is better than two in the bush, right? He's saying I'd rather do chalitzas and be safe than to do one yibum and then the guy might die. Okay, it's whatever. It's an interesting.
Hard to understand.
Yeah, it's very hard. It's very hard to understand. Let's see, because Reb Gamliel says differently. So Gemara asks, ain't Zika tibatel. So what are you saying? That if there's no Zika, then maybe the mitzvah is going to be batel, right? Reb Gamliel Amar ain't Zika. Reb Gamliel doesn't hold of Zika. Right? Umutu levatel mitzvahs yibum, and he holds it is mutter to be mevatel, right? Because now the case with Rebbe Gamliel, the Gemara doesn't say it, but Rashi says, again, two brothers marry two sisters. One sister is a regular over bas mitzvah, the other one is under bas mitzvah. We haven't had that in a few blot. I guess the Gemara was having like withdrawal symptoms from that case, right? So she's less than 12. So what we can basically do is say, hey, just do miyun. Remember what miyun is? Miyun is, say, just absolve the marriage, right? The mother and the sister married, the mother and the brothers married her off, just absolve the marriage. Now you could have yibum. Or can she say, no, I don't want to absolve it. If she doesn't absolve it, so then she's going to pot it. There's going to be no yibum. So the Tanakama says you tell her to do miyun and absolve the whole marriage, and then it's not going to be two brothers married to two sisters, right? Because one is gone. Right, she got rid of the marriage. But Rabbi Gamliel says, the Tanakh Gamliel, in miyana, vimloi miyana. And if she doesn't do miyan, tamtenat shetagdol, then you wait until she grows up, right? And then she'll be regular married, and then v'teitze halazu mishum achazisha, and then the other one won't get yibum, because she's achazisha. So see, Rabbi Gamliel doesn't care. He says we don't have to make her absolve the marriage in order to do the mitzvah of yibum. Let her do whatever she wants. If she wants to stay married, just she stays married. Oh, the one sister's going to go without yibum. Okay, that's it. So he clearly is going to disagree with R Meir. R Meir is even choshet so far. So that's what the Gemara answers. I'm related to Rabbi Gamliel, the R Meir Karamas. You're asking for a kasha on R Meir from Rabbi Gamliel, right? So they're saying they're two different opinions, right? Why would you ask for one on the other? So the Gemara answers, Loi, hachi kamni, and this is what we mean to say. R Meir chayesh afilu l'sveika. R Meir is so strict that he doesn't even let yibum because he's afraid that there might be a death. And then you taking Rabbi Gamliel, who's so far apart in his shita. Rabbi Gamliel, afilu levada, he doesn't even care about avada. You have R Meir, it's almost like you have lahavdil, you have an OCD guy on one side and somebody who totally doesn't care on the other side. Make a good chavrusa shot, right? I'm saying, but so R Meir is so concerned to allow this yibum to happen to the sisters in case one brother dies. What's the chances? He's so concerned. Rabbi Gamliel says not only is he not concerned about that, he says no. And if they don't do yibum, so no. Right? So that was the Gemara's kasha. Can it be that there's such a separation in shitas amongst Tanaim? It's not often that the Gemara asks that type of question. So the Gemara, and so that was the Gemara's kasha. The Gemara says no. Dilma mandalei chayesh afilu levadei chayesh. No, we're saying, yes, the Dilma mandalei chayesh afilu levadei chayesh. Even the one who is not concerned with any sort of chashash, even a vada is not chayesh. Umante chayesh afilu l'sfeik chayesh. The one who is chayesh is even chayesh l'sfeik. So the Gemara is basically saying in the Chanam, he's saying, yeah, somebody who doesn't care, I was not concerned whether the yibum is going to take place or not. So he's not concerned even for a vada. And the one who's for a suffix, and the one who's not concerned the one who is concerned is going to be concerned even for a suffix. Fine. So Amalei Abayla Rabbi Yosef, Hadar Rabbi Yehuda the Shmuel. This that Rabbi Yehuda said that the Zika, that's the shita of Shmuel, right? I was thinking about Naftali Liner for this, a little Milsa de B'dichasa here, because Shmuel.
I heard my fire alarm went off. I just heard my name.
There you go. This Gemara reminded me of you because Shmuel had a bunch of rebbeim. I'm sorry, Rabbi Yehuda had a bunch of rebbeim. Shmuel was his rebbe. Rav was his rebbe. We had a couple other rebbeim. So you're the only one on this stuff
Okay.
that has a lot of rabbeim.
Okay, it's a good.
All
Okay.
the yeshivas. Right? He just asked him how many yeshivas he went to. So anyway, so the Gemara is
Just
saying
think,
here,
Naftali Mitzvah, when you hit it big, you'll be honored by like 14 different yeshivas.
that's right. So
I'll tell
anyway,
you one story. I see you in Shabbos.
so Rabbi Yehuda, he's saying Rabbi Yehuda got his shita from Shmuel. The Tana on Amud Beis. Shemeres Yavam. So a Shemeres Yavam, right? There's a lady that's waiting for you. Shekidush Achav is Achaisa. That his brother married a sister. Again, it's two brothers, two sisters. So we say to him, Hamten Achi Yasa Chicha Maisa. Wait until your brother does yibum. Don't get married, right? They had kiddushin. You had a brother that married a woman. Then you have the other brother who did kiddushin to his wife's sister, right? So he did kiddushin to his wife's sister, just kiddushin though. Then the brother dies without kids. So now what? So tell him not to get married. Like this, it won't be sisters, and then there could be a yibum, right? So wait until your brother does the maisa yibum and then get married. What's your rush? And Shmuel said halachos like Yehuda ben Beseira, right? So therefore, there's Zika. If there was no Zika, then we wouldn't have to do this. So Amarlei the Rav Mai, and if let's say Rabbi Yehuda got it from his rebbi who was Rav, what would be so shver? Amarlei kasha the Rav. You'd have a stira and Rav, because we said before Rav Huna said b'shem Rav that it's mutter with mutter to the mother, meaning that there's no Zika. So it'd be a stira and Rav whether there's Zika or not. So Gemara says, well, Dilma Amirayin of Aliba the Rav. Who says maybe it's an Amirayin and it's a Machlokes, what Rav holds. So Gemara says, so who says it's really in the name of Shmuel? Maybe he said it over the name of Rav. No, so Kivin did Mamash made the Shmuel Bahedya, since we know that Shmuel said it for sure. That there's Zika, Umish made the Rav, Kamirayim, but the name of Rav, it's a Machlokes Amirayim, Leishav Kinamish made the Shmuel Bahedya. We're not going to throw away a mimer of Shmuel that Shmuel for sure said that there's Zika, Umakmina Kamirayim, I'll leave it to Rav and say that Rabbi Yehuda heard it from Rav according to one opinion of the people of what Rav said. We're going to go with Shmuel. Fine. So Amar Rav Kahana, Amrisa L'Shmaitzak made the Rav Zvid Min is a different version of the same Gemara. I said over this Gemara about Zika in front of Rav Zvid and Amar Asan Hachi Masnina. That's what you learned, right? But Anan Behedji Masnina, we learned it openly, right? In the Hardoi, we learned it openly. Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Shmuel Shemeres Yavam Shemesa Asa Be'ima. A Shemeres Yavam that died, right? It's also in the mother. So we see that he holds that there's an automatic connection immediately after death between the woman and her brother-in-law, and therefore he's not allowed to marry his mother-in-law. It's not his potential mother-in-law. And Shmuel goes according to what he holds. That holds that yesh zika. And then we need to say both. If we say there's yesh zika, that's only when there's one brother alive. So we said when there's one brother alive, so there's an automatic connection right after brother A's death. There's an automatic connection between brother A's wife and his brother-in-law. I will betray, but if there's two brothers, how do you know which brother is going to do the yibum? So maybe there's not an automatic connection. Kamash Malon that there is. Okay, so then the other way. And if you just say Allah is like that's only when the Yavam was alive that there's Zika. But once she dies, meaning if she dies before her brother-in-law could do Yibum, then Pakala Zika, there's no longer Zika, and the brother can marry this lady's, his sister-in-law's mother. Kamash Malan, the Zika Bichdi like Paka. We don't just get rid of Zika. So that's the same Gemara. Just gives us another opportunity to either be confused or to clarify. One of the two. Right? Okay, so Zok the Mishnah. Okay, we have a few more minutes. Yeah, so Zok the Mishnah. Shnei Achim. Now this is almost the exact same case as the first Mishnah, except the difference is when this brother Levi was born. Right? Again, Reuven and Shimon. Right? Reuven died without kids, and then you had Shimon. Right? Shimon was going to do Yibum to Reuven's wife. And then Levi was born, right? So the question is, when is Levi born? Was Levi born before the Yibum of Shimon, before the potential Yibum of Shimon, or after everything? So Shnei Achim, they had two brothers, and one of them died. And he did Yibum, right? Shimon did the proper Yibum, everything great. And then Levi was born, and then Mace, and then Shimon dies. Right? So meaning Levi was born after the original yibum. So Reuven's wife, Levi was not alive when she was married to Levi's brother. So he cannot do yibum to her because we said from what the pasuk says. Vashnia and Shimon's wife, Mishum Tzarasa, because since they're co-wives, so Levi can't do anything. Right? But this is again because Levi was born after Shimon already married Reuven's wife. In the first Mishnah, Levi was born before that. So also by mamar umeis, but if he did mamar and then he died, hashniya chaletzes v'lam yevamos, then the shniya that gets chalitza, and they can't. You do chalitza, but you can't do yibum, like we said, because mamar is a marriage derabbanan. So you can't do yibum. You can't do yibum because it's a sister-in-law. You can't let a potter because really it's not a sister-in-law because it's really not a marriage. Shimon disagrees. Shimon miyavim la'ezem and sheyirtza. He's miyavim to whichever one he wants. Or he does chalitza to whichever one he wants. So if Shimon holds, it's this Levi is not considered a brother that wasn't born in this world. Since he was alive. What we're going to say, he's going to say, well, that's going to be a Machlokes. But Levi was alive before. Since Levi was alive before they got. No, he didn't get him. He was alive. Before Shimon's death. He was alive before Shimon's death. So therefore, he's not considered Eishes Ach that wasn't in the world. So Zog Gemara, we'll do a little bit of Gemara. Amar of Aishia. Rav Aishia says, Chalakay Rav Shimon Ach B'Rishayna. Rav Shimon disagrees in both cases. No matter when Levi was born, Rav Shimon holds that he's not considered Eishes Ach Shaloi Ha'Ba'alim. Mimai, how do you know? We learned Mishnah Yisera. We have an extra Mishnah because these two Mishnahs are almost exactly the same. Bava Dereisha, Laman Katanila. Why do you say the first case? Where the first case is Levi was born before Shimon's yibum. Right? Laman Katanila, what do you say? If you're saying it because of the Rabbanon, to say that he's going to be potter, Hashta Yavam or if there was yibum, and then Levi was born, that when Levi came into the world, there was beheter because he didn't do the yibum yet. Asir Rabbanon, the Rabbanon still say it's asur. Noilad, ba'achakach yibum mibai. So noilad, and then there was yibum. So for sure, elalav Reb Shimon itzrich. The reason why we need two cases is Reb Shimon, the Tana Reisha, l'diachakahi the Reb Shimon, and we say the Reisha to tell you the strength of Reb Shimon. That what? That Reb Shimon says. The Reb Shimon says that Reuven's wife Levi's allowed to marry Reuven's wife after Shimon dies, even when Levi was born before the yibum. The Tana Seifa, the Rabbanan, and the Seifa is teaching us the Kayach of the Rabbanan. Ubedinu writes that even when Levi was born after the yibum, he's still considered Eishes Ach Shaloi Ha'Ba'alim. He's like a brother that wasn't in the world. Ubedinu the Niflik Reb Shimon Bereisha. So why doesn't Reb Shimon disagree in the first Mishnah? He only disagrees in the second Mishnah. The Rabbanan waited till they finished both cases, and then Reb Shimon says he disagrees. Right? So basically what we're saying is that Reb Shimon really does not hold of any of the cases of Eishes Ach Shaloi Ha'Ba'alim. Reb Shimon is basically saying, when is there a case of a brother's wife who's not in the world? Reb Shimon here he's saying in all these cases that there is. So that's what the Gemara's kashas. How do you have your standard case of a brother that doesn't have to do yibum? So Gemara says, "B'chad acha umis." It could be there's one brother, and that brother died. Right? You have a brother alive. You have two brothers. One's married, and then he dies without kids. You have another brother. He's supposed to do yibum. That brother dies, and there's no other brother in the world. Then the mother has a new baby. So there's clearly an Eishes Ach Shaloi Ha'Ba'alim. So of course he does not. When he grows up, he does not do yibum. That would be the case according to Reb Shimon. Any other case, Reb Shimon would hold that he is considered in the world, right? So again, b'chad acha umis v'noy ach, and then the brother was born after that. Inami betray, or it's talking about with two brothers v'loy yibum v'loy mis, and they didn't do yibum, and nobody died, right? So you have your standard case, but nobody ended up doing yibum, and then the brother was born, right? So then he does not do any yibum, right? Yeah, so okay, three more lines. So so it's good if it was yibum, and then afterwards it was born. So then Levi, when he came into the world, she was mutter. But it was born, and Levi was born first, and then there was yibum. My timer. Why does Reb Shimon say he's not in the world? He wasn't in the world. Why does Reb Shimon say he was in the world? He wasn't in the world. Because Savar Yesh Zika. No, because he holds there's Zika. Every Yibum has Zika, but Zika keknusa damya, and Zika's mamish as if they're a wife, as if he's mamish a full-fledged wife. So since it's a full-fledged wife, this guy was his wife after, right? How does it go? That if Levi was born, since she was already connected to Reuben, so it's as if he was born already after they were married. So therefore, that's why Rav Shimon disagrees. Okay, I hope it was semi-understandable. 5:15 to 5:15 tomorrow is 6 o'clock Mincha Yishifarako. That's the plan. All right, fine.
Have a good Shabbos.
Shabbos, everybody.
I thought you had an auto text on grills and stuff.
I do, but you can't. I'm saying, you want me to send that to you? I'll send it to you.
No. Does that not go for smokers?
Yeah, you could do it. I mean, unless it's. The only thing I was specific about is whether smokers get hot enough.
Oh, I didn't look. It wasn't for me. Someone here asked me that, so I asked. I assumed when the guy asked me, I said, "Oh, you have an auto text." Okay.
I know I do. So, but it's not my auto text.
What's this about smokers?
For Pesach, someone asked me to ask the rabbi.
What smokers?
A smoker, like a pellet smoker for brisket.
Oh, I thought you were talking about me.
Right. Okay. So I told him.
No.
That's what I said. I told him that I thought that the deal breaker was going to be the cleaning.
Yes, it is.
Okay, fine. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
All right. Yeah.
But does this? Can I ask you a question? Does this go for tarfus also?
Yes.
Okay, fine. No, because what you can do is you can find a lot of them that have been used once or twice that are used that people decide they don't want to smoke meat, and you could find them very cheap. So that was his other shaila. So okay, that.
I hear you. All right.
Okay, thank you.
Have a good you could buy it and smoke it out.
What?
What do you want to buy?
Buy one and smoke it out.
Yeah, you have a lot of them you see on like OfferUp that guys use them once or twice, and then because like mine you can never clean.
Nothing.
Right, you can like mine. You could clean that for a week; it would never get clean. Never. You can. My thing will never get clean. I mean, there's caked on chunks of brisket grease for 2 years already. It'll never.
So you do what I do. I buy a new grill every year for Pesach. That's not true.
No, a grill. I get a disposable grill. No, I'm talking about the smoker. Is a different.
I bought a Weber grill in Costco when they knocked it down by $200. So I bought it.
Calabar. I whatever. I should have probably bought a smoker. They clear the smokers out. They go on clearance like at Walmart after the season. But,
I hear you. Yeah, whatever. I tried it, but I figured they knocked off $200, so I bought it. Covered Pesach.
That's nice. You bought it now this year?
Yeah, last week.
Oh, very nice. Okay. Gas? So what is it?
Gas.
Is that still going on?
Yeah, I think so. It's $800 instead. It's $800 instead of $1,000.
Those are nice grills. It's a 5 burner probably.
Looks like my freezer busted, so I'm going to be in the market for a new refrigerator, freezer, and I think maybe a new dishwasher. And yeah, hallelujah.
Wow.
Yes, if there's ever a season for me to have to do this stuff, it's now.
What kind of freezer?
Baruch Hashem, it wasn't actual Erev Yom Tov.
That's true.
Kind of you have?
Don't worry. Hello, we're spoiled Americans. Not like we don't have a freezer and a fridge and a freezer downstairs.
Yeah.
Anyways.
All right, have a good Shabbos.
What? Yeah, what
Shabbos.
have a Shabbos upright freezer?
Who?
You got a chest freezer or an upright freezer?
The upright downstairs. We got a new upright freezer this year. Yeah.
The new one died, or you think?
No. My old one's 18 years old.
Oh, okay, fine. Well, I would say I get the item to get you a freezer.
No, it's okay. It's okay. No, it's a fridge freezer. It's my regular refrigerator freezer.
Oh, I thought you meant like a freezer, a stand-up freezer, like
Yes.
what I have in the garage. Okay. All right, have a good
my
shot.
regular.
I was sad about the text. I thought you were gonna do the exciting one.
No. Naftali Liner made a machal against a bender in my name already.
Oh, very.
Yeah.
I bought Dave a bottle of scotch for Shabbos. he said he's gonna need a drink this Shabbos.
Who?
Dave. I bought Dave a bottle of scotch.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Okay, have a good Shabbos. Thank you.
All right, good Shabbos.